Okay, so we're going to talk today about what happens after airdrop farming and the power of decentralization for growth. I'm John Wu. I am a partner at a new venture firm called Asylum Ventures, but more importantly, I am Maggie's partner and the first gentleman of SheFi.
Woo!
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'll have each of these women introduce themselves, starting at the back.
Hi. Hey, everyone. I'm Suzie. I work at Linea. I don't know, what do you, I do partner marketing. I'm the only partner marketer, so I am partner marketing.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Meaghan. I'm a developer relations engineer at Ava Labs, the primary developer of the Avalanche blockchain. And just a dev by trade.
Hello, my name is Jana Bertram. I run strategy at the Rari Foundation. We work on behalf of the Rari DAO, which is comprised of Rari token holders, community governing the Rarible protocol, which is the backend to Rarible NFT marketplace, and also community marketplaces, and also the Rari chain, which we launched in January. You would see my swag if you didn't see my little kid on my lab who came to see the talk, but then couldn't resist coming on the stage with me. So happy to be here today.
Okay, so today's topic is basically what to do after airdrop farming. But I think the first thing I want to do is actually try to steelman the case for airdrops. It feels like it was consensus that that's the way to grow. Now it feels like it's the consensus that it's not the way to grow. Can we try to make a case for airdrops? That's like kind of the first thing I wanted to start with. And we can maybe go down the line from Suzie.
I wish I didn't sit here then, if I have to be down the line first every time.
We'll change it up.
Yeah, thanks. Cool. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, we're trying to make a case for airdrops. So we kind of recognize that maybe it's not the easiest thing. It's not the most effective thing to carry on for long-term users, but there's obviously still a role for it to play. Yeah. And so how do you think about airdrops? And rather than asking when airdrop, let's ask why.
Okay. How many of you guys pursue airdrops? Nice. Love that. Yeah, I feel like airdrops have a bad name. It's kind of like a dirty name, like farmer. Gross. Right? We don't want farmers. We want farmers, right? We like farmers. I know that farmers have a bad name, but the purpose of farming is not just for users to get paid for their work, which is amazing. In what other industry can you actually go on your computer, test out dApps, and then you get paid for it in a couple months? That's amazing. That's like real money for people, and people depend on that. And not only that, but all of the dApps that are getting feedback, right? Like Linea does voyages. If you know Linea, we always do voyages. It's like this big thing. But we'll have 300,000 users test out a game, and maybe that game has only seen 20,000 users ever. So the game crashes, and they're like, oh my God, we can't handle this many users. So damn, good thing you found out now, right? That's a great thing. So the amount of feedback we get, that dApps get from farmers, is so tremendous that I've actually worked with partners who just shut down their projects to rebuild based on the feedback that was given to them. They completely pivot, they completely change, and then they rebuild and they come back 3 months later, 6 months later. And that's amazing. If we didn't have farmers supporting them and giving them all that feedback, then maybe they would never have gotten to that conclusion in the first place. They would have never gotten that feedback. So farmers are cool. Right? We like farmers. dApps like farmers.
I like it. Meaghan?
Yeah, so I think that airdrops as a mechanism for incentivizing use on your application is just pretty black and white. I interact with most things every day because somebody told me it was cool and that I should try it. But when an app has been in development for 1 or 2 years and that app only has the attention of 1 to 2K users, in order to really get people's attention and get enough activity to have active feedback, like Suzie said, you just need something that everybody wants, right? Which is money. So I think that the mechanism itself is just very clear, but it's not going to produce much sustained use. It's going to give you that initial how was the initial user experience and how well did my server hold up when I had that really high user count. But after that, people are going to be okay, I came here, I earned my nickel, like, I don't think I'm going to use this again unless it's something that really I was convinced. Versus the organic, like, incentivization of your friend telling you, hey, I just used this application and it saved me, like, so much time and money, right? So I think that's kind of why they exist, and they do serve a purpose, but I don't think it's maybe the best approach in all cases.
Can I disagree with that?
Absolutely.
Should we fight?
Yeah, let's fight. Let's fight. I'm scared of you.
No. So I totally hear you, but I actually have a real use case where that maybe wasn't true. So we had a game that they had like 500,000 users. And of those 500,000 users, only 5,000 stayed and actually added to their monthly or daily active users. So they went from having 20,000 active users to 25,000 active users after 1 week of like our quest. So yeah, that's only 1%, but that's a 25% growth for them after just 1 week, and that number has stuck. So yeah, the percentage is small, but there is potential with enough spaghetti you throw against
that's
the wall.
what you need to like build into your strategy, right? Like, because what you attract with airdrop farmers is that like initial cohort that will go in the door, but how do you have them stay, right? There needs to be something for them after they've onboarded into your ecosystem, into your app, whatever it is that you incentivize them to join, right? And then you also have to look at like, am I actually in a position to be paying them enough, right? So that they're actually happy about being incentivized, they're happy about the airdrop. Because what we are seeing in the industry is farming is table stakes, incentivization is table stakes, and then the audience is not happy because somehow the payout was not enough. Right? We were in the position, right? Our payout when we did our campaign for launching Rari Chain just ended up being, too little of a financial incentive at the end of the day, right? You don't commit usually to the budget before, you usually commit to it after, right? And then there's somehow an expectation from the audience that they're gonna get really like rich, right? And it's like an ideal scenario, and I wish it would be like, early days where, you actually do get rich off of farming, right? But the truth is, like, we are entering a level of like sufficient maturity when it comes to airdrops that, people are not being super reckless with their budgets anymore, right? There is an ROI consideration for when you are dropping your tokens or your rewards on what you are getting back, right? Especially in today's market where we're just seeing we're going up and down, and probably like the ups don't linger on as long as we would like them to, right? So I think you just need to consider, if I'm going to be doing airdrop, do I have sufficient budget for it? You probably need to carve out something to get people in the door because, as I said, it's table stakes. It's table stakes, right? What do you want to say? Okay. But, you can't just, set the expectation that this is going to be a payout. By the way, they do a lot of karaoke at school.
And maybe to stay on that for a second, like, how do you set expectations such that you don't get blowback? I mean, like, we've seen a lot of projects get held hostage by airdrop farmers who are really loud. A lot of these, airdrop farming institutions are heavily industrialized. We know that there are industrialized farming operations in certain areas. How do you stop yourself from being held hostage by people who are asking for a handout? Is there a way to balance that with converting them into loyal users?
I honestly think you, to a degree, have to be comfortable with the FUD from the community, right? Because like nobody's going to be like, not all the farmers are ever going to be happy. Yeah, so you just have to embrace just, them being, them being, at least some of them being disillusioned. I think, to your point, Suzie, like if you convert some of them, that's success. You just can't expect to convert all.
Meaghan, Suzie, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like farming, a lot of times is a means to an end. But if you can create upside, this is like the big thing, right? Like, how do you create upside so people hold on to their tokens and they just don't like immediately sell them to get value? I think that's what we all need to figure it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is really in the timing as well. I think if you have your app at a mature enough point where you can pretty much ensure that if you have a certain number of users brought in by the airdrop, that a goal of 2 to 5% of them become daily active users, then yes, it is a success. But a lot of that also has to do with the fact that, what time do you start marketing the application versus when is it truly in its MVP state? And when has it also been battle tested enough, either by auditors or by, paid active users, that you're not going to see any major hiccups in the first iteration of that, right? And I mean, that kind of stuff is like not entirely predictable. There's always going to be things you don't like anticipate. But then it's also like, how can you spin it that it's not a bug, it's actually a feature, like things like that, right? So a lot of it is just in the messaging. It's in the community sentiment. I think a really great way to get feedback and just to hear community conversations is like Twitter Spaces and Discord channels and things like that. So it's just like having an ear to the ground when launching an application, and then kind of dynamically reacting to it. Also admitting when you did mess up. I think that's kind of just like handling that, saying we're going to do our best, we're going to try to be better, and our goal is not the next 2 years, our goal is the next 20, 200.
Agreed. Suzie, any closing thoughts to that? Cool. Yeah, for sure. I'm actually kind of biased toward decentralize the tech, centralize the org. Please don't shoot me. But this panel is really about how decentralization can lead to growth, especially through the organization and through the community. How does a decentralized organization community lead to better growth than centralized efforts? We can start on this end.
Well, I'm a big fan of decentralization. You know, we work on behalf of a DAO, so we truly believe that decentralization is a path forward for governing protocols, for governing ecosystems. I think it helps growth because, you know, everybody knows about crowdsourcing, right? Like the more minds you have in your community, in your ecosystem, the more ideas you can get. And you know, just having the community work all towards the same goal, I think is just an amazing thing. We were talking about farming. We have a delegate in our DAO that is a professional farmer, right? The way he entered the DAO was actually discontent with one incentive program we ran about a year ago, and he was giving us such shitty feedback on not shitty feedback, good feedback, but like he was really angry with like, this was such a bad design, you know, like this was not really aligned to like how you should be running incentive programs on Discord. And we actually pinged him. We were like, do you want to become a delegate? Do you want to change this, right? And he's actually now actively designing a new incentive program together with us, right? So we turn him around to be our advocate and actually help us out. And it's something that we would not be able to do if we, you know, didn't have our Discord with our community, right? And the fact that then now these kind of, you know, thoughts and programs that we're designing together are going through the governance process, right? That they are being worked on in public, that they are being reviewed in public with the wider community, right? And then there is a wider consensus before they actually go on voting, which is, by the way, on chain, right? So that everything is self-executing and actually like, you know,
it's just not
very much like kind of like written in stone almost, right? Immutable by any like one single actor. I think all of that is then driving more of a community consensus, right? And it's something that you need for these bigger projects to be going forward, right? Like we all know why decentralization is important. You don't want to be in hand of a single actor, especially with something important. Like for example, now we're looking at expanding our governance into multi-chain governance. One of the products that the DAO is governing is multi-chain, right? So how do we govern in a multi-chain environment? And the thing is, we're looking into what partners do we want for the bridging solution, right? Do we want a bridging partner that is decentralized, or do we want a bridging partner that is not, right? Because if we have a bridging partner that is not decentralized, do we feel comfortable with our governance essentially being in hands of a single actor, right? And the answer is no. Right? So that's why decentralization is important. I know that this is highly distracting for some of you, but you know, it just makes such a case for building in a decentralized fashion and building in a way that, you know, gives you these network opportunities out there, and also, you know, you're hedging your bets essentially.
Meaghan, Suzie?
Yeah, that was really well said. I think I was taught engineering by a lot of professors who were very aware of the fact that a diverse group of engineers, as well as just in general teammates, will always produce like the most applicable outcome, because we're all affected by things based on our backgrounds, where we're from, our mother tongue, like all things like that, how we are led to a solution when trying to solve a problem. So having a decentralized organization where not only are there people from a diverse number of regions and backgrounds, but also everyone is kind of put on the same playing field and given the same amount of leverage, is really, really important for building an ecosystem where everybody is recognized and valued. Avalanche recently had a very formal launch of its Ambassador DAO, and we're active in over, I believe, 90 countries all over the world on every continent. And just in the first few months, the amount of enthusiasm and feedback we saw from the formalization of this program by a member of our DAO previously, who was, like you said, a loud voice in the room, had great opinions, and was very, very active and passionate about the community, has just led to an explosion in growth, but also an a large amount of valuable feedback for our team and the engineers at Avalabs, right? Just like, again, having those voices brought to our attention in like the most organic fashion has been nothing but valuable for us in building our tech.
Hi. Decentralization. I mean, that's why we're all here, right? Crypto, we all believe in this. I feel like with Linea, what we're doing now is everything's centralized from a tech perspective, right? We're building our L2. We're not live yet. And so our tech team has been building it for, what, 6 years? That's crazy. So they're going to continue to build within their team, which sounds centralized, but they're going to continue to build within the team until the network is ready to be decentralized, fly in its own network. But I feel like to build an ecosystem, to then hand it off to them and let them fly on their own, you have to like find partners that have the same ethos as you. So if you're onboarding dApps, if you're onboarding partners, like understand who they are, right? Because crypto's all about people. You don't want some guy who's like pulled a million rugs, right? You want like legit people who are building interesting projects who have the same ethos as you. And if you're all on the same page that we're gonna like build this together and we're gonna be a community and you can create this like beautiful network of an ecosystem, then the infrastructure, the network just becomes like, you know, we just disappear into the background, which is the goal, right? We become useless, kind of, and that's the goal. So yeah, I think decentralization is important, but set it up right.
100%.
Yeah.
We're at time, but I would love to do a rapid fire. How can someone best get involved in your decentralized governance, community, or ecosystem? Yeah.
I'll use the chance while I still have the mic. So we have a booth in the back, so come and talk to us. It's me and Ksenia, who's another member of the foundation, so you can always talk to us and get more in detail. But if you go to rari.foundation, you will be able to navigate through the links, join our Discord. I think that's the first place. Look at our forum, look at our Tally profile, which is the on-chain governance portal that we're using. Get familiar with what we're doing, join our bi-weekly community calls, and we also run a program twice a year called Delegate Launchpad. So you don't have to acquire your token to become a delegate. You don't have to, you know, start campaigning for yourself right now with a wider community to get delegations. If you want to be, you know, a voice in our community, you can also wait for one of these two cohorts where you provide us with an application why you want to become a delegate, and then the foundation gives official delegations that stay with you for 6 months. In the first 3 months, you have 100% of the delegation. In the next 3 months, it decays over time. So then you can actually campaign for yourself with the community and get more of that overall support. Right, but like we just want to make sure that the access to our governance is widespread. That you don't have to be like one of those initial token holders, or you know, become a delegate when the DAO was launched and that's it. That's entrenched, right? We do want to continuously bring in new voices. So come and talk to us, learn more about the Launchpad, learn more about how to get involved, and you're going to find us in the booth in the afternoon.
Cool.
Nice. If you're here today, you can come talk to me at the booth in the room right next to the entrance. I'm happy to introduce you to the rest of my team that is here and give you all the information that you desire. If you are a technical member of the community, or if you're just in general interested in consensus engineering / execution, custom execution environments, Avalanche has a protocol called Avalanche Community Proposals, which are kind of like EIPs, but it's all run on GitHub, and we basically propose every change to our consensus engine, Avalanche Go, that runs our network, every single time there is a proposed change to the software itself. So you can come there, tell us your opinion. If you have a proposal for something you would like to see built, you can also open a PR and document that. We usually hold like community meetings per ACP, so would love everybody's input there. And then if you are watching this in retrospect, or if you are interested in getting involved afterwards, our Ambassador DAO is in as many countries as I can probably name. As an American, that might not be much, but as many countries, every continent, and you can follow them on Twitter at ABAXDAO, and find out about all the events that we are holding on all of those particular places. So,
Sweet. Suzie?
Hi. So Linea hasn't launched our token yet. Ooh, airdrop farmers. We see you. We see you. We're always having voyages, so come farm us. But like the upside that Linea will have once we, launch a token. Can I say launch token? I should ask the Linea team. I'm supposed to say decentralize. Sorry. But once we decentralize, our upside is going to be our relationship with MetaMask. Ooh, 30 million monthly active users. Come and get it. And also community, right? Like if you're a blockchain, you want to have culture. You want people to live in your magical internet city. What do you need for that? You need security, you need culture, you need people and economy. So communities are like the big thing we're investing in. eFrogs, I don't know if you guys heard eFrogs, they're like this wild community, but whatever it is, join a community, like get involved, do something fun on Linea, and that's how we're gonna get people to stay. Invest in your community.
You can say hi to all these folks after the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.